AM 1600 KIBA, 93.7 FM, the web, the app, rockoftalk.com. I'm Eddie Aragon, the Rock of Talk. Glad to be here with you to kick off another Saturday with Tego and Tracy Venturi, the Venturi Real Estate Group from Keller Williams Realty. You can pick up the phone and dial them directly, and they'd love that. 448-8888. That's 448-8888, or welcomehomeabq.com. That's welcomehomeabq.com, which is the #1 real estate website here in the state of New Mexico. And my good friends Tego and Tracy are here to kick off the Saturday each and every week. Tego, Tracy, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Another, well, it looks like winter might be coming actually on this. I was going to say beautiful fall day, but we might have winter very soon. It's is what they're saying.
We have one more week or so before daylight savings time too, right? Or is it two more? I guess next weekend's Halloween. So
yeah,
it'll be
that's right.
The weekend after.
Everything changes.
Everything changes.
But what isn't changing is that people still need homes.
Yep.
There's a lack of inventory out there, and there's never been a better time to sell your home. And all you have to do is pick up the phone and give Tego and Tracy a call. They're the best of the business, recognized, number 38 within the country. Is that with Keller Williams? Or
That's correct, yeah. 30, number 30 in with Keller Williams Realty, which is, the largest brokerage in the world.
So you guys know what you're doing, and so that's good. And right now, this is a time where people need experts, people who have a lot of transactions, people who have been through things. So I'm telling you, don't call anybody else. Call my friends Tego and Tracy. And you don't have to do anything with them. You just have to give them a call, and they'll point you in the right direction. You're looking for a mortgage broker or a list of people that you need to get working on. And hey, you know what? You're in the middle of something. They can help you. 448-8888. All right, here we go. List of topics for today.
Well, Eddie, do you think we'd be doing this show for 7 years if we didn't like giving advice on the stuff we do? I mean, we really enjoy helping people with this whole homeownership thing.
That's the great thing about you two, is you guys really enjoy helping people, and it's such an important part of the economy. I mean, I don't want to get down a sort of a rabbit hole here, but this is 15% of the economy.
It is.
So, and you guys are a leader in that industry, and the largest in New Mexico.
Okay, I just got to say, back in March, when we were all going, what the heck is going to happen here? And I know at one point I said, I think it's going to be housing that kind of leads us out of this mess, because it was looking pretty ugly there for a bit. And, the reality is housing overall for the economy has been a leader. And it's been
a great store of wealth during this time.
It is.
I mean, while everybody else might be losing their money in other things, even companies, there's just a few tech companies that are really kind of keeping the stock market going, and people are losing their jobs, their values. What they're realizing, there's this, right, Tracy, all this equity is building inside their homes. And it's like, oh my gosh, I have this money here, and you know what? We're going to be okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, that's a perfect segue into one of our topics is why be a homeowner other than the financial. We'll go through the financial, but just some of the other reasons people should be, or, that people consider great reasons to be a homeowner.
Right. Yeah. Buy versus rent. We'll have that today with Tego and Tracy. Question of the week, which is, what are escrow accounts, and as it relates to mortgages? We'll talk a little bit about that. The homes of the week with Tracy. She'll tell you how they're all doing. By the way, you look great today, Tracy. And Tego, I like your haircut. I don't know what's going on over there. You guys are going. Yeah,
I've got new lights in our little studio at the back of our office here. So
that's one of the reasons to go see Tego and Tracy on their website, welcomehomeabq.com, because you could actually see them there. And then mortgage application data, buyer demand staying strong, and then finally home price forecast from the experts.
So much to get to.
Experts in air quotes, because we know this year has been an interesting year when we talk to experts. So anyway, I've got housing experts talk about home prices. I just want to tell people what they're saying.
So welcome to Albuquerque Real Estate Talk, Tracy and Tego Venturi. We come to you every Saturday morning right here at 10. And it's such a pleasure to always do this show, right, Tego? Because it keeps us sharp, right? We're always checking out what's going on around the country, sometimes internationally, and just making sure that we bring you the latest and greatest. So if there's something that you want us to talk about that's of interest just let us know, and we would be happy to help out. We are with Keller Williams Realty, and you can reach us at 448-8888. Pretty easy number, huh?
Yep.
It didn't sound easy when I said it, though.
448-8888. 8888. So, Tracy, let's talk about buying versus renting. I know this is a topic that comes up a lot. The reality is home prices have been climbing pretty steeply. I mean, historically in the last 3 to 5 months. What happened was we had a kind of a pause back in March, April, May. And then really starting in May, we were kind of off to the races with home sales here, and prices have been going up. So if you're a renter and you're thinking, well, gosh, I don't know, maybe I missed it. Maybe prices are too high. What should I do? So I just wanted to do that whole comparing renting versus buying and some of the reasons why, either both positive and negative.
Sure. So, I mean, there's a lot of non-financial reasons to be a buyer versus a renter. But honestly, when you look at the financials of should I buy or rent, the numbers will say very clearly that if you're going to be in a property renting or buying for 2 years, like if you're going to own for 2 years, you definitely should be an owner. The average, kind of a national study, right?
Yeah.
The average.
Actually, no, that's local. The numbers
Local?
I ran here. Yes, I ran some numbers for Albuquerque. So I compared a $240,000 house versus paying $1,400 a month rent, which is about what you're going to be expecting.
So at first glance, these numbers don't make a lot of sense, but it's because of a lot of the incentives basically for being an owner.
Right.
Like with,
Right.
On your taxes and things. So buying that $240,000 property here in Albuquerque, average cost a month would be $871, whereas the average cost to rent would be $1,498. So basically $1,500 for some house that's valued at around $240,000, right? So over 2 years, buying's the cheaper option. You would actually save on average $940 a month, or $22,500 over 2 years. And tell us some of the reasons why, Tego, that number would be such a savings.
Well, part of it is you've got the tax incentives from, you can deduct your mortgage interest, right?
And your first 2 years of your home payment, a lot of it is interest.
Oh yeah, good portion of it. And so, I mean, that's a big one. There's really, you're also have this thing. It's your mortgage payment isn't just only interest. You're also storing some savings by paying down your principal as well, right? So it's forced savings. That's something we've talked about before. And then the other thing, long term, just another financial reason, is you're stabilizing your housing cost. Right. If you're a renter, every year, every couple of years, you're going to get a bump up in rent. If you're a homeowner, you buy a house, put your down payment, you get your mortgage, you lock in your mortgage. Now you've locked in your housing costs for whatever, 15, 30 years if you're on a mortgage. So
and then in addition to that, the value of the property goes up.
Right. You get the appreciation. And it's also a hedge against inflation. Now, if you look at home price appreciation versus inflation. So we talk about home price appreciation in Albuquerque, and it's somewhere, let's say 3-4%, over long periods of time, right? Inflation is more like 2%, over a long period of time. So, the spread between that is actually a hedge against inflation. So if people say a home is an investment, well, it kind of is, but it's not a pure investment. You could do better putting that money somewhere else, but you got to live somewhere.
And would you put it somewhere else?
Right, exactly.
Right, versus how we like to live today.
So the other things that I think people, just need to remember is when you're a homeowner, you can make the house your home. Right. You become part of the community. If you're, transient, you're just kind of going to be there for a while. You don't get to know your neighbors. I mean, some people do, but I'm just saying you kind of settle in and you basically build your community when you're a homeowner, right? Right.
So we were reading an article, Tego. It was like the 9 reasons why you should, why buying a house is 100% worth it. Right.
Right.
So we've talked about some of them, right?
Yep.
paying the mortgage, which is forced savings basically, because
Right.
you're saving for yourself while the value of the property goes up. There's some homeowner tax breaks
Yep,
because
talked
of
about
the
that.
interest.
Yep.
But the design and becoming a part of a community, being able to paint your kids' rooms pink and blue or whatever colors.
That's what I was going to say. Is you make it for yourself.
Right. It's not a house that you can't do things with.
Right.
And you can do projects to make it better. One of the things I just wanted to mention when we talk about this moving into a new neighborhood, and you had said, sometimes you know your neighbors and sometimes you don't and things. One of the things that I have found, this is kind of off topic, but when you move into a new home neighborhood like D.R. Horton, Pulte, Hakes, Twilight, Abrazo, right? They're building kind of up the street, and everybody's moving in around the same couple months typically, and they really seem to get to know each other because it's not an established neighborhood. And so there's not already who knows each other, and they already have their neighborhood friends. It's kind of cool because you tend to get to know a lot more people in those new home neighborhoods from talking to the clients that we've helped over the years.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Off topic, but sort of interesting because I think
L-
when you move into an established neighborhood, sometimes you get to know like maybe immediate people, but you don't know who's around the block.
Yeah, for sure. One last thing on that, and I think this is, it's kind of silly, but it's true. And the number one reason when the National Association of Realtor does survey on, why buy a home, it's because I wanted to buy a home. Right? It was just, it was nothing more.
It was time.
Yeah, it was just,
sure
there was nothing more simple than that. And part of it is that, it's that whole American dream thing and, being a homeowner, and it's just having that pride of ownership is a big deal.
So
especially
Tego,
for a first-time home buyer.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
I was on a presentation that Zillow did. I don't think you were on because you were on a board meeting.
I was at a board meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was great because Rich Barton, who's one of the founders and CEO of Zillow, spoke for a while, as well as Irvin Magic Johnson for about a half hour.
Magic.
It was awesome just listening to
Michigan
him.
Guy.
That's
okay,
right,
well,
MSU.
He went to Michigan
State, which is not where you grew up.
No, I was an
You
Ann
were
Arbor guy.
an Ann
I
Arbor,
was an
Michigan,
Ann Arbor guy. Yeah,
not
but
Michigan State.
Anyway.
So Rich Barton was talking. What was the point? Let's see.
We're talking about home ownership, first-time home buyers, and I don't know.
Yeah. It was really interesting because he did a lot of statistics about the home buyers, their patterns, how people find homes today, what they're looking at. But one of the things that kind of stuck with me is he was saying, especially like the New York metro, tri-state area, San Francisco, some of the bigger metropolitans, he said, and he was staying in an Airbnb or a rental house on the coast in Southern California at the time of his Zoom call. But he was saying that Zillow has noticed a huge change in the rental market in those big cities, that people are moving out and getting into single family homes, and their rental rates are going down and their occupancy and availability of rentals is going up. And they're seeing it pretty dramatically, especially in the New York, New Jersey, San Francisco areas.
I've seen those stories as well, not just from Zillow. I've seen it elsewhere. We're not seeing that here, though, in Albuquerque.
No, not at all. But you think about
the opposite.
What we have to offer to people,
right?
And we've seen a little bit, right?
Do I get to beat the housing affordability drum for Albuquerque for a little while?
Go ahead.
That Albuquerque is still one of the most affordable. It's not still most. I say it that way because prices have gone up.
Right.
But if you look at New Mexico, Albuquerque, compared to other surrounding states, Texas, Arizona for sure, Colorado for sure, we are still the most affordable state and city in the Southwest. I take that back. El Paso's a little bit more affordable, but we used to be neck and neck with Tucson. Tucson's is not as affordable as Albuquerque.
Yeah, their home prices have jumped.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a few of the homes that people might want to consider.
Yeah,
right?
you got some homes for us to consider.
We have a few homes that I can't give complete specifics about yet.
Yes.
Because we're
because I'm on the MLS board of directors, and you'd be violating the rules of the MLS, and I would be in trouble.
So we have a few around the different areas, of the city coming. We have a really nice townhome northeast Albuquerque around 239 that's coming soon. We have a house in Rio Rancho for $180,000. Another Rio Rancho custom home on a half acre with huge views that's going to be just under $500,000. Another one in the Ventana Ranch area, and that one is right around $200,000. So the affordability there is really great. A couple other things: we've got several open houses going this week, and if you want to know more about those, you can get on albuquerqueopenhouses.com or call us 448-8888. We'd be happy to tell you about them. We have a couple properties that just hit the market this week. 720 11th Street, Tego, downtown. That one just went active, and the open house is?
Yep. That would be on tomorrow.
Saturday. Yeah, and Sunday.
Sunday. Yep, Sunday.
From 12 to 2. 720 11th Street is $300,000. It's a 2-story home. It's 11th Street and 720. So 1,826 square foot. 3-bedroom, 3-bath house. And we have another... the townhomes at 1400 and 1404 Mountain just had a big price reduction.
Yep, so that's at 14th and Mountain, right?
14th and Mountain.
Right in the museum area there, the Tigway Park area.
Yep. And those ones are $399.9. New construction, really beautiful high-end finishes right by Tigway Park, the museums, Old Town, like you just said.
Sawmill. I was down in that area just, a week or so ago, Tracy. I was looking at a house down there. And that's really hip happening kind of, it's kind of turning over there. I mean, obviously there's
regenerating.
I mean, there's some families in that area that have been there forever, and it's, that's great. But, still, pride of ownership. You can still pick up homes pretty affordable in that area, but there's a lot of kind of a hipster feel going on in that part of town. So, like Mountain, again, near Sawmill, near the Old Town, near the museums. A lot happening there. Yeah, it's a good area.
Speaking of a lot happening, we listed another property this week that's very unique and very interesting.
Very unique.
This one is in Belen on Main Street.
South Main Street in Belen. It's 2.76 acres, 2 different parcels being sold together. Right.
One is a vacant land, about an acre.
Let me ask you, do you want to go into the antique store business?
That's what I was just going to say. Who is looking to go into the antique store business? Because there's a 2,400 square foot business that is being included in the sale. It's an opportunity to take over all of the antiques that they're including in the sale. And let me just say, Tracy, I presented this with the exchangers group that I go to, and there's an opportunity here for somebody that's looking for a business, maybe kind of a semi-retired type thing, but it's the Bethlehem Trading Post, and it's just South Belen. It's 2,400 square foot building with all the inventory. It's included. Jam-packed, plus the 2.76 acres. There's some zoning stuff. You might be able to do, some mobile home park, some other, who knows what it could be used for. There's a lot of opportunity there for somebody that's looking for an opportunity. So. And they will sell it without the inventory, but they have priced it basically to sell it all.
So 1300 South Main, Belen, if you want to Google it, or just give us a shout at 448-8888. I almost gave out my cell phone number.
Which wouldn't hurt.
Which would have been
people
fine,
look it
too.
up and they call us all the time, which is just fine.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting property, and for somebody who might want the extra land to do something else and develop, build, add on. Apparently this building used to be a restaurant. It probably could be a restaurant again. So kind of an interesting one. It's been fun to share the history of that as it's been coming available.
Okay, Tracy, we got to jump to. Do you got something else you got to get to, or can I get to
go
my?
Ahead.
Because
get to it. You're
I
so
already
excited.
Well, I already said this, so now I got to do it.
Right.
Which is the
would it be stats?
Prognosticators prognosticating. Is there such a thing as prognosticating? Prognosticator.
So
there's there's a bunch of people out there that are economists that just work in the housing market, right? And there's a lot of different groups and organizations. Zillow, of course. There's the Zelman Group, Ivy Zelman. She does great work. Freddie Mac, which is the lending. NAR, of course, the National Association of Realtors. There's the Home Builders Association. There's the Mortgage Bankers Association. There's a company called CoreLogic, which does a lot of. Anyway, these are all quote.
And you follow them all.
And I follow them all. These are all the experts in the real estate world, and so
You started out saying lots of experts or whatever. I was gonna say, oh, come on, Tego, don't be so general. But then you went forward and gave us all sorts of.
I know. Well,
experts.
The point is, I've seen a lot of post stories, YouTube videos. Okay, let's be real. Clickbait. Trying to scare you into how bad the housing market is. And, who knows what the truth is. But these are people, this is what they do every day, all the time, is look at the housing, look at all of the data, not just a couple little snippets, which is generally what you get on some of those, the sky is falling stories. So this is what we're seeing. We're seeing a spread of, and they're looking forward 12 months, we're seeing as low as 0.2% appreciation, which is really an outlier. That's CoreLogic. The rest of them are anywhere from 3.5% appreciation up to 7% appreciation over the next 12 months. This is nationally. Wow. So there's, again, I'm going to air quote experts because we've kind of all lost faith in the experts, I think, in 2020, but. There's so many things that go into the housing market and what's going on. And the one thing that people seem to always leave out of their story is the demographics and the fact that we have this huge population moving into that the young 30s age, let's say, where mostly, that's when people start doing household formation and buying homes, first-time home buyers. So that whole millennial group is right now moving into that prime home buying age. So it's really hard to say that demand is just going to all of a sudden go away. There's just too many people.
Right.
And not enough
houses.
Yeah.
So that's going to continue to create the demand. And, it's interesting, Tego, because as we're on the radio today, the number of properties on the market, residential in our market, is under 1,500.
Yep.
We're just 1,482 when I looked last night.
And that's all MLS. That's not just Metro Albuquerque.
Right. And so that's properties around the state. Some people around the state put them in. There's some Santa Fe properties in there. So just Albuquerque and kind of our metro is lower than that. So that's really low.
If you caught my blog and my Facebook post the other day, you'll see that I've been tracking the number of homes on the market, and we've actually held now at about the same level since July now.
It's been fairly
level. Basically the same number of homes on the market versus so it's balanced in that sense, even though it's still very low.
We're not losing. We're not
going negative, because we were going negative starting in May through June. The number of homes on the market was just diving every week, but now it's been steady.
If you look at just kind of the metro up to Placitas, Rio Rancho, almost to Edgewood, south a little bit.
Kind of what the whole, what we call metro bedroom communities,
Yeah, maybe not including Las Lunas, or we're somewhere around 1,100 homes on the market, which is very, very low.
Very low. I would say, they talk about buyer's market, seller's market, and that whole thing. If you were to game this out, it would be, to get to a balanced market, we'd probably want to have about 5,000 homes on the market, and we're currently at 1,100. So just kind of, take that into account. So we're still a great time to be a seller, right, Tracy?
That's true. Yep. If you're thinking of selling, give us a ring, 448-8888. We'd love to talk with you. And, one of the things we talk about, Tego, is if you are thinking about selling even next spring, call us sooner than later. Let us help you get yourself ready so that when the time comes, you're ready to have it hit the market in its best light. And don't do any projects before you make sure, because what we find when we meet with people, right? We meet with home sellers and they say, well, I'm going to paint this room and I'm going to do that. And we're like, No, here's what you really should focus on, what buyers really care about, and what's going to net you the most money.
Well, and it's also, it's the merchandising, right? It's getting it ready. It's making it a product, make it the most desirable. Yeah. Buyer demand traits, I've been looking at a lot, and one of the
Oh, that's right. That's what we were talking about, statistics.
Well, yeah, it's okay. We can know that it's just, this is interesting because we've been talking, obviously, buyer demand we've seen very strong here in Albuquerque for homes. I've got some new stats that I've been able to get now that are the number of purchase applications. Remember, I used to have the national stats.
Right.
Well, one of our friends was able to hook me up with the New Mexico only stats.
Wow.
And so now
purchase applications means they've gotten with a lender and they're applying to get a home loan.
Right.
So it's just showing how many people are getting themselves ready to
And this doesn't include refinance applications. So if you look get this, refinance applications in New Mexico, let's see, this is annual change. So a rolling 12 months through September, up 97%.
Oh, wow.
Basically doubled. This is for refinance. That's
very smart, right?
That's for refi.
People that are refinancing properties and locking in a lower rate, good for you.
You know what the cool thing about that is, too? Think about all that extra disposable income that people are going to have now that they're reducing their housing payment, right? So that's money flowing into the economy as well.
Yeah, probably most people refinancing. I know we've done a few ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
They're saving maybe $150 to $300 a month
I saw a number, national stat where they said the average is about $250 a month.
That you're saving by refinancing.
By refinancing.
Now, you're probably refinancing for a longer term, right? Instead of loan only having 20 years left on it, you now have 30 years left on it, but you're paying substantially less and you can pay ahead, right?
So what's going to happen is there's going to come a time where there's no benefit in refinancing, right? Because right now, there's a lot of people that were in 4.5%, even 5% mortgages, and now you can get 3%. Well, eventually that's going to work through the system, and there's just and so what's going to happen is the refinances are going to fall off. I just wanted to give this one other stat, though, which is the purchase applications for New Mexico.
This is where we come back to full circle. What we were talking about.
Yeah. And so buyer demand, right? So in New Mexico, purchase applications year over year, 12 months rolling, 35% increase versus last year.
35% increase in people applying for a mortgage.
Correct. To purchase,
not just refi.
Correct. So, and that's a New Mexico number, which is actually in the top 10 in the country.
So, Tego, how does that correlate to homes sold? If applications for people to get mortgages for a purchase are up 35%, how much are the home sales up?
Well, in Albuquerque, in the greater Albuquerque area, we're only up about 1 or 2% on a rolling 12 months. Because,
number of homes.
Yeah, April, May was down so much. We've come roaring back. And so now we're just kind of back to that trend line and catching back up. We're going to end up with sales that are ahead. Now, the National Association just put out their numbers countrywide, and we are, I think it was 20% year over year through September in
20% what?
Increase
in
home sales.
In home sales.
So, I mean, the fact of the matter is home sales are strong. If you're thinking of selling, it's a good time to sell. If you're thinking of buying, I know I sound like a realtor. It's a good time to buy. Oh, wait, I am one. The thing is, I mean, educate yourself, right? And and just like we started the show with, there's reasons to own other than just the financial reasons.
Right.
But even the financial reasons with 3% interest rates are strong right now. Even the fact that prices have gone up. Let's say worst case scenario, prices go down. Okay. Let's say they go down 10%.
If they go down, that means interest rates are going up.
Correct.
And interest rate has a much more effect than the home price.
It'll actually be led by interest rates.
Right.
If interest rates go up to 5%, home sales are going to slow down.
Right. So we only have a little bit of time.
Yes.
Let's get to the escrow question.
Yes, the escrow. Yeah.
So we had a
what is
question
escrow,
this week.
Tracy?
What is escrow?
Yep.
And I guess I can run with that. So escrow is what your lender is holding aside, so when your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance are due each year. So for most people that don't put 20% down, you have no choice. Your lender is going to collect, in addition to your house payment, they're going to collect money towards your insurance and property taxes. So when those bills are due, they know they get paid because they're paid once a year. Well, property taxes are paid twice a year in arrears,
Yep.
but they want to make sure those get paid because they're on the line for that loan, and they don't want it to go into default, and they don't want you to cancel your homeowner's insurance and not have it, and the house burned down, and they're out their loan money, and you're out of house, right?
Yep.
So an escrow is money that's taken along with your house payment, held by your lender, and then they make payments for you for those two things. So that's what an escrow account is.
Got it.
And when you close on a house, escrow account is set up for you, and there's some money taken and that you pay at closing so that those accounts can be set up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just one of those thousands of questions that come up, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. So get an expert that can help you. We're the Venturi Realty Group with Keller Williams Realty. You can reach us at 505-448-8888. And we're always here to answer questions for you. Operator standing by.
Thank you, Eddie. We could get
like
60.
Thank
We
you
could
both.
get
And
61
what do you mean,
calls.
Get my friends only. There's nobody else you better call. You better only call Tego and Tracy.
Eddie,
No,
we'd
Eddie-
like 61 calls today.
Yeah.
That is
cute.
awesome. Good for you.
If we give away $500, do you think we'd get more calls?
What do you mean? We're giving
I would
away.
not say that was the motivational portion of it. I think
No.
everyone was listening. But,
Sorry, it's an inside joke if people weren't listening to your show this week. So
We are
Yeah,
giving
that's
away a
true.
free home inspection, though, for anybody that sells with us this month, coming month in October, November.
Hey, and those aren't cheap, folks. So
That's
there you
right.
go.
So there you
Tego and
go.
Tracy Venturi.